In this video, I will give you a step-by-step checklist to network effectively. You will stop being afraid of your bad English or your mind going blank when speaking, and it's not going to be a problem, even as an introvert. My name is Artem, and I'm a non-native English speaker. I started my own YouTube channel, this YouTube channel, and a global business in English. I've helped non-native entrepreneurs record more than 100 plus videos in English, so they recorded their own videos in English in total. And I did more than 200 networking calls myself, and I help others do the same. So this is my calendar. As you can see, I did quite a lot of calls, and this is just so there's like 30 calls in 1 week. I did 30 calls in 1 week, and as you can see, like I did a lot of calls. I spent a lot of time doing that, and I was not confident in the beginning. Honestly, I'm an introvert. Honestly, I had bad English in the beginning, and my mind also used to go blank, and I just didn't know what to say on the call. And there was just a lot of awkward pauses and silences. But there was a simple solution that allowed me to have amazing calls in English. And so this one thing will make you fluent and confident on networking calls. And it's all about how you prepare yourself. So if you prepare yourself the best way possible on the next call, you are going to crush it. It's going to be amazing. Your mind will never go blank if you simply prepare yourself the best way possible to destroy all worries, all doubts, and all insecurities. I'm telling you. If you prepare your environment, if you prepare your mind, if you prepare your voice, and if you prepare your English, you're going to sound amazing. And you will have no thoughts about that, right? Because you're confident, because you will be focused on the person you're talking to, not on your clothes, not on the way you look, not on the way you sound, right? Not on the way you speak. You're going to be fully focused, fully present, and it's not going to be a problem for you to leave an amazing impression on a person you're talking with. So let's start with visuals and then talk about English. So first, this is me on one of my first calls. It was like my 10th or 20th call in English. And as you can see here, I'm not prepared, right? I'm sitting with a blanket. The background looks kind of strange. Okay, I kind of try to prepare and make it look cool. There's some books and stuff, but still, it looks crappy, right? My haircut is not on point. Like there's a pillow here, so it just looks weird, right? So the thing is, you want to wear professional clothes when you go on calls because you're an entrepreneur or a creator and you want to just look professional when you go on calls. You don't want to look like a person who just spends all day at home and does nothing, plays like video games or something. You get the point, right? You want to look professional, and you want to like leave a really good impression on a person. Like you're not trying to how do I say, you're not trying to get approval from a person. What you're trying to do here is you're trying to look professional and look like an expert. And this will allow you to have mental clarity. You're not trying to get approval from a person again. Okay? Do not sit in your underwear because it's not about the fact that, oh, well, what if I stand up and then the person will see my underwear? No, it's not about that, okay? It's about your mental state. If you sit in your underwear, you will you will have a mental state of a person who sits in underwear and who is not a professional, right? You will speak less professionally if you sit in your underwear. Your English will sound less professional if you sit in your underwear, I'm telling you. Like here, I was sitting in my underwear, to be honest with you. And I took this photo just like a few minutes ago, and as you can see, my background looks better. I sit in professional clothes. Sit in just like a black t-shirt, right? And it looks professional. My haircut is better and everything. And so you want to create a nice background or simply blur your background like I'm doing right now. It's a bit blurred, right? So when it's blurred, or you can just like use a Google Meet filter or something, or a Google Meet background. So your background just looks professional, right? So when you do that, you give yourself a 20 or 30% boost to your confidence and brain capacity. And this is only the beginning, you know? Like you give yourself 20 to 30% boost to your confidence first, and then brain capacity. This is really important because your thoughts are no longer about how you present yourself. Now you are only thinking about how you speak, right? You still are going to have some thoughts about, I don't know, maybe about your voice or about your English and stuff like that. But if you prepare these things, you're also gonna stop thinking about them, right? And we're gonna talk about this later, okay? So you literally have more space in your mind to process thoughts in English. I'm telling you, you're not thinking about your clothes, you're not thinking about your background. You are thinking about how to speak English, right? And now your thoughts are focused on a completely different subject, right? And now it becomes easier for you to speak in English, right? And to present yourself better. So, this is the first part, which is to simply present yourself, present your background better, your visuals better. So, that gives you more confidence, right? And more mental clarity as well. Then we want to actually boost our mental clarity as well, get like another 50% increase. So you literally speak better English as well. So please do not eat heavy food or drink beer or drink alcohol before going on a call. I mean, I know this is pretty straightforward. It's like everybody understands that you shouldn't drink alcohol before going on a call because, well, you'll be drunk, right? But you also want to avoid eating heavy food, right? Right now, I'm recording this video. I didn't eat anything, okay? So I woke up, I made this entire presentation for you, and I didn't eat anything, okay? I simply drank coffee, I drank some water, and that's it, okay? I didn't eat anything just to have full mental clarity when I'm recording a video. So sometimes I eat nothing before going on calls and recording videos. And one time I remember returning home after a heavy workout. So I did a heavy workout, and the only thing I was thinking about is food, okay? So before the workout, I didn't eat anything. I was I ate like 3 or 4 eggs, and then I went and did a heavy workout. I like trained my chest, trained my arms, and everything. And like I only thought about food. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come home. I was visualizing the fact that I'm gonna eat something. I'm gonna eat some food, and I'm gonna feel amazing, you know. Then I returned home. There was like a really tasty rice with chicken and broccoli, and so I just wanted to eat it, right? Like I put it in the oven, in the microwave. I started heating it up, right? So I put it on my table, and then I decided to check my calendar just in case, okay? And then I see somebody scheduled a call with me at this exact time. So I was like, the call was scheduled at 7 p.m. and the time was 7 p.m. And I was like, shit, like, well, I can't eat right now. I need to do a call. I'm 2 minutes late. Okay, I was like, shit, I didn't know that somebody scheduled a call with me while I was in the gym, you know? And I was like, what should I do? Should I eat or should I go on a call? So I decided to like put the food away and go on a call because this is more important. This is more important than food, honestly. Like if you want to make progress in business, if you want to um just like present yourself the best way possible, you want to avoid eating food. Like I could have just said to a guy that, I'm just gonna eat something quickly, like for 5 minutes, and then let's like do the call, okay? But I didn't say that to a guy with whom I had a call. I decided to take the call first and then eat the food after that. I wanted to provide value to a person first, right? And only then eat food. It took me 30 minutes to finish the call, and only after that I could eat, right? But the food tasted even more delicious after that, I'm telling you. So please try to avoid some food before going on calls, especially like heavy food with a lot of like carbohydrates, right? You can eat some eggs, you can eat some bread, you can eat some fruits, but avoid eating like a lot of food before going on calls, okay? So then I would suggest you to also take a cold shower or do 10 push-ups or meditate. You know, you don't need to do like all of this stuff. Like you don't need to have this like gigantic checklist with all the things you need to do before the call, but definitely just like try to do at least one of these things, right? Or I mean, two to three of these things. So for example, not eating anything before the call. Of course, like improving your background. This is just the thing that you can do once and then you don't need to do it again, okay? So when you improve your background, it's not going to be a problem for you anymore, and you get the increase forever, right? Then, um, just try to avoid eating heavy food before the call, and then just like take a cold shower because well when you take a cold shower you simply recharge your nervous system, right? Your nervous system becomes calmer after the cold shower or after meditating or after doing push-ups. Like you just feel more relaxed, right? And that allows you to have more clarity in your mind. By just doing 10 push-ups, it's so easy. It takes you like 30 seconds to do that. And when you do that, well, you become calmer, you become more relaxed, and it becomes easier for you to go on a call. So you can literally just take a deep breath, right? And you become calmer. So this is what you can do, and this will give you a lot of mental clarity, like I'm telling you. And your English will be a lot better. You will speak better English just because of that. And so now let's talk about the thing that is actually going to improve your English and your articulation on a call. So the thing is, you want to actually prepare what you are going to say. And this is going to give you like 100% increase. Okay. So here are the thing I prepared, and these are just some questions you can ask a person before, I mean, when you are on the call. So this is like the entire script for the call that I go through when I'm on networking calls. That these are literally the questions I used to ask to people, right? Now it became a second nature to me, and now I can just go on calls without preparation and simply have an amazing call. But if you are starting out with networking, just simply try to go through this script or create a similar script. So, for example, hi, Artem, it's good to connect with you. How are you doing? I would like to ask you a couple of questions about you. So, first, I wanted to ask you, where are you from? That's cool. You're from Canada. That's amazing. So, also, I wanted to ask you, a few questions about your life and things like that, what you're working on. So, what do you think? Right? And so then you begin the call. Of course, you have some quick small talk in the beginning. It's like, oh, you're from Canada or you're from Australia. That's amazing. Nice to connect with you. Like in Australia, I was once in Australia and it was like amazing. I saw kangaroos, right? So you have like a small talk in the beginning, and then you proceed with the questions, right? So you ask some questions about the typical day. So it's like, how's your typical day looks like? What do you do on a day-to-day life, right? Then you ask a question about what are you currently working on or focused on? So what are you working on right now? I'm just curious, right? What is like your profession or what is your business or something like that, right? Then you ask, what is the biggest challenge you're facing right now, right? What is like the thing you're worried about, right? Then you ask, what have you tried to solve it? What, like, how do you want to solve this problem, right? In business, right? And so when you ask these questions, you identify the problem of the person. And so maybe in the future, you can help that person, right? And that's how you build connections. That's how you network with people. And so then you ask them, what do you think is missing right now for you to make this happen, to solve this problem? What is like the number one thing that you can do to solve this problem or something like that, right? And so when you ask this question, you can literally create like an offer for that person and sell it to him, okay? And then you can also ask, where do you want to be 1 year from now? Like, what is your goal for this year, okay? Or something like that. And so when you ask these questions, you're not focusing on the question itself, you focus on the meaning of the question, right? So you can ask these questions differently, of course. You can rewrite them the way you want them to sound, because sometimes it's like you just read a question and you don't really understand what it means. So you can rewrite this question in your own way so it makes it easier for you to actually read it, okay? And so then also there is an outro, right? So you simply say, thanks for your time and answers. It was amazing to connect with you. Let's stay in touch. If I come across anything useful for you, I'll send it your way. Honestly, I don't like this ending, you know. So I would prefer saying something like, great. Uh, it was amazing to connect with you. And do you have any questions before we end the call, or do you want to add anything? So if the person says no, then you simply say, okay, then see you on the next call, or see you inside this platform. Let's say you're on Telegram or on school, so see you inside school, or see you inside LinkedIn or Facebook or something like that. So bye bye, see you, man, something like that, right? So have these questions open if you forget what to say. So if you go to call and you're a bit worried about what to say or how do we start the call, right? Simply have these questions open. So if you forget what to say, you can just literally reference them, right? So this is pretty easy. And now let's continue. So now you know what to say. Now you also understand that you want to have full mental clarity when speaking, and you also want to have clarity in terms of your background, right? You want to have clear background, literally. And then let's also prepare your voice. So this is a kind of a funny part because here you're gonna do like some silly exercises, okay? So if your voice sounds a bit groggy or a bit unclear when you are trying to speak, it's like there's something in your throat. You can do this simple exercise, which is called lip thrills. Okay, so you simply do this. I don't know. This is hilarious, but trust me, when you do this for 1 minute, or you can, if you cannot do it, you can also like put your fingers here and do it. You are going to clear your throat and you're gonna sound better and more clear. Like you can just try this exercise right now, and you're gonna sound a lot better when you're trying to speak and a lot clearer, right? And your voice will sound a bit louder as well. So when you try this exercise, it's going to be easier for you to speak and your pronunciation in English will improve. And so you won't overthink this part. You won't overthink about pronunciation because you sound clearer, right? And so then also you can try to read something loudly before going on a call because sometimes people are speaking silently, even on calls. Sometimes they're just speaking, but you cannot hear them even in your headphones because I don't know. Some people are used to um, speaking with like a silent voice, right? It's like some people are introverts, and it's just difficult for them to speak out loud. Maybe there's someone in your room, right? And you don't want to like disturb them or something, but you do want to speak loudly because if you're not speaking loudly, people will perceive you as as being less confident, right? And you're not an expert when you speak that way, right? So you want to speak loudly. You want to speak like an authority, like an expert. And how do you do that? Well, you simply read something really, really loudly. So, for example, you just simply open up the questions and you start just simply reading this script, right? Hi, Artem, good to connect. I'd like to ask you a few questions to understand what you're working on and where you're heading. Let's begin, right? When you read it like this, when you try to force the loudness, when you try to become even more loud, then you're gonna sound uh, like an authority, like an expert on the call. Okay, like you're not going to try to force and be extremely loud on the call itself, but you are going to speak a bit louder, and it's going to be easier for you to sound more confident on the call as well. So if you do these things, if you do these things together, before the call, you will have nothing to overthink about, okay? You're prepared fully and your mind is clean, ready to focus on speaking English and connecting with the person you're talking with instead of overthinking or shutting down, right? So when you do these things together, you're going to sound more confident. Of course, you want to work on things you are bad at. So for example, if you struggle with your voice, you can just do this, right? For example, your background is good, but you want to just improve your voice, you can just focus on this part specifically. Or if you struggle with mental clarity, it's like before the call, your mind is just goes blank. It's like, oh well, I don't know what to say, or you just feel like you are, how do I say, you're overthinking too much, or your mind is clouded with stuff, right? You can try having more clarity by doing these simple things, right? Or you can just prepare what you're going to say before the call if you don't know what to say on the call, right? And when you do these things, when you improve the parts you're lacking in, you're going to have amazing calls. So I hope this video was interesting. I hope this video was really valuable. And if you are an entrepreneur or creator, check out my free community to help you improve your spoken English so you can sell and scale globally. So it's called Globalpreneur. So link is in description, and like there's a lot of positive reviews, so you can just check them out and check out the community. So there's going to be a lot of amazing stuff inside this community. I just started it like 2 days ago. So check out this community, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.